everybody. I'm Jon Anthony, Head of Safeguarding Adults for Torbay and also the Associate Director for Adult Social Care Professional Practice. And I'm here today to do the Safeguarding Adults vlog. So I've split it down into 6 core themes. So the first thing I just wanted to talk about briefly is just to remind you, a gentle reminder, that in terms of safeguarding adult practice, we've got our local safeguarding adult operational guidance, and we've also got other guidances such as our safeguarding single point of contact guidance. So absolutely draw on those resources in your day-to-day role, and they're there to support you in practice. Secondly, it's also good just to remind you of the resources we have within the Trust on the Hive. So on the Adult Social Care Hive portal, there's a specific block that relates to safeguarding adults, and that's got lots of information, additional useful safeguarding adult resources, including safeguarding adult review practice briefings. And we also, don't forget, are members of the Research and Practice for Adults, RIPFA, and again there's some great resources on safeguarding on that you should have access to. Also just wanted to touch base in terms of referencing the Torbay and Devon Safeguarding Adult Partnership. There's some fantastic resources on that to support safeguarding practice and intervention responses. And it's under the drop-down box about us. That's where you'll find it on the Torbay and Devon Safeguarding Adult Partnership website, which you could just Google and it will come up straight away, basically. Lots of really valuable information that links to learning from safeguarding adult reviews as well, such as self-neglect and hoarding guidance, which we've recently updated, exploitation, escalation protocols. If you're worried about something within a safeguarding response that isn't moving as quickly, or an emerging concern that needs to be escalated, so there's an escalation protocol in there as well. Themes such as domestic abuse and unhealthy relationships, and easy read booklets on safeguarding as well to support you in conversations with people who might need easy read information. Just in terms of our safeguarding adult review process, the partnership website does describe the safeguarding adult review referral process, and all safeguarding adult reviews for Torbay and Devon are published on that page. And again, as you know, quite often the partnership will produce practice briefings, learning practice briefings, which are distributed by Deborah Kelly in our team, and actually for those that go to Safeguarding Adult Improvement Group, they do actually get reflected on there, and leads should be also feeding that back into frontline teams. But there's a variety of practice briefings that are available as well. Just in terms of safeguarding adult reviews, there are some key practice issues that consistently come up, such as consideration about mental capacity, executive functioning, enacting safeguarding processes to talk about emerging risks and actually utilising our safeguarding responses. There's other information such as multi-agency risk assessment comes up quite a lot in terms of a learning theme, actually using escalation where there's emerging concerns in relation to an adult at risk, and actually knowledge base as well, and looking at legal options. So actually utilise knowledge within a system, and actually if you're unsure on the duty of care, make sure you get legal opinions on duty versus right of autonomy, those kind of things. In terms of our local strengths and areas for improvement, I think just some things on our radar at the moment is we're making safeguarding personal. It's really important to apply that throughout a process, and actually within conversations with CQC or others, make sure that the making safeguarding approach to Torbay is really clearly articulated and celebrated, and actually evidenced within our records. Rationale for decisions around Section 42 in terms of the Care Act, Section 42.2 duty. Sometimes it might be that there's a bit of clarity needed on a rationale. So if you get that scenario, please do not hesitate to contact the Safeguarding Single Point of Contact if you've got any query in relation to rationale for safeguarding decisions. We're really keen as well, as you can imagine, to avoid drifting open Section 42 inquiries. So use that safeguarding operational guidance I referred to look at timescales. Have regular multi-agency meetings or safeguarding meetings with colleagues and partners to ensure that safeguarding responses don't drift and actually are ceased in a timely manner. There are some kind of really important things that we capture in data. So make sure you record, we are asking people their preferred outcomes, and if those preferred outcomes are met, make sure you ask people if they consent to give feedback, and make sure you record the risk outcomes as well. Those are really important fields that we need to capture in terms of adult social care outcomes framework, and also in terms of our local data governance processes. And again, just make sure that within practice we're kind of undertaking timely inquiries and evidencing defensible decision making within processes. And use escalation, which I referred to earlier, if you have any concerns about the progression of an inquiry. We're also mindful at the moment that there are some challenges in administration and within safeguarding processes, particularly around arrangements and meetings and minute taking. So if you're having a particular challenge of that, again, it's really important just to flag that to the lead or one of the managers so we can capture that and feed that back into emerging risk processes. In terms of our strengths, I think the qualitative feedback checker process we have is really valuable because it gives us a lot of insight into how safeguarding is actually what the lived experience of people who are in safeguarding is at this moment in time. And certainly what that is showing us is that people feel safer, they feel included, and they feel listened to. And there's overall high praise for social workers and those engaged, which is great. We also have a really good range of data which captures people's journey through a safeguarding process, and actually that can be really valuable in terms of for leads and managers just to sense check where enquiries are up to and if we're actually capturing the data we need to do in terms of individuals' journey through our safeguarding responses. MDT approach, we're always shown in a really positive light in terms of our MDT approach. You know, for example, you know, that's a real value of our integrated health and social care organisation. A lot of adult abuse concerns relate to health-related concerns. So early engagement and involvement of our health colleagues is celebrated in that in terms of a positive MDT approach in assessing risk and responding to adult abuse concerns. And finally, evidence, we are using safeguarding in response to learning. So certainly in terms of what's coming through our system at the moment, we can really evidence an increase in using our Section 42.2 duties in response to concerns of domestic abuse, and also in terms of circumstances of serious self-neglect. So again, that's really great that we're able to evidence that actually responding to learning review themes around situations such as domestic abuse and self-neglect. And finally, in terms of the CQC pre-meets, you know, I would encourage you to go to those. They are a real chance to meet peers who would be in conversations in those meets with you. So actually, certainly, you know, engage in those because it will just enable you to kind of reflect as a team and prepare for that. It also provides an opportunity to discuss any anxieties and understand those expectancies a little bit more on the actual day, and an overview of what to expect as well. So I'd certainly encourage you to participate in those pre-meets prior to CQC inspection as well. Okay, thanks for listening, and all the best for your day. Thank you.